What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? I know we usually have an intro, so I know some people like the intro, so I'm going to do the intro, which should give Jamari some time to jump on. So enjoy. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, all. This is Javon Stokes, and this is a Stoked Podcast. Thank you all for joining. I know, you know, some people don't CP time, so they're going to jump in late. But I really do once again appreciate you guys for joining me for another Thursday night. This is our ninth episode. Been doing this for 9 weeks now, which is crazy. Technically, it's our 10th episode because we had that soft launch, but it's our official ninth episode, and this has been fun. I got to be honest with you. I'm learning a lot by talking to all these incredibly talented people, these incredibly gifted self-starters who have taken their talents and made something of themselves. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep having these people on. We had a really special guest today. She's running a little bit late, but for those that know her, that's not expected. And we have Jamari. He's going to jump on in a minute as well. Yes, we're gonna talk about a few things before Jamari gets on. But today, like I said, our guest is Kyrinda Richardson of the Urban League of Greater Hartford, and she will come on and we will talk about some things from her job and her position. All right, hold on. Let me bring in Jamari. Say hello, everyone, Jamari.
Hello, everyone. And I still haven't watched Batman yet.
Why do you keep reminding people? So yes, if you want to, please, I'm going to point this way. There we go. Well, this hand. You can chat with us. You can comment in the chat section, and we do recognize you're pointing the wrong way. We
No,
do
I'm pointing it
recognize
right.
what? No, you're pointing the wrong way. It's the other way.
I'm pointing at you.
Why?
Because I
You're a
can.
weird guy. Anyway, yes, our guest should be on soon. But before our guest comes on, honestly, I want to talk about Jamari and I decided we're going to talk about NBA. Honestly, this has been one of the most entertaining seasons for the NBA that I've witnessed, because to me, there's no real juggernaut.
No, there
Yeah.
isn't. And you have a very real possibility that a number one seed team in the East could get knocked out by an eighth seed, depending on how things shake out before it's all said and done.
Yeah, it's actually, can we talk about something? I want to talk about something. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a sharp right turn.
Oh, you're turning somewhere else. Okay,
I'm
where
turning
are we going
somewhere
to go with this?
Now I'm probably gonna butcher her name, but how much have you been keeping track of? Was it Katanji? Am I pronouncing her right? I know I've heard it, but the Katanji Brown Jackson, her hearing.
Oh, okay. You're talking
Yeah,
about her hearing.
yeah.
I can't. I've seen little bits and pieces, but it basically sounds like it appears they're trying everything they can to just give her a hard time, but there's really no way they're going to stop her from getting her spot.
Yeah, it's like it's a difficult watch. Like, honestly, I found it really difficult to watch every aspect of it. Mostly for me is I feel like their line of questioning is almost like it almost feels like putting all black women on trial.
Are you even close to shocked that that's the case?
I mean, I'm not. Hold on. I'm good. Kyrinda is trying to get in, so I gotta consider her link. But continue. It's not that I'm surprised. It's like, it would be. It's sometimes it does amaze me that we're still here. Like, it's been how many? It's 2020, 2022,
Well, I
and
think
we're still. and we're still dealing with stuff like this, like where one black person is whatever it is seemingly represents all black people. Like no
Correct.
matter what you do.
That has been, well, every group other than white Anglo-Saxon has been othered. So when one person comes into view, comes into prominence, comes into a possible position of authority, fame, or wealth, then they now get to become a representative.
Yeah, but it's
No
never
matter
like
who
the
you are.
positive thing though. You ever notice? I mean, it's never the positive thing.
And it's especially true for black people. We are always the other. There's no, even when we are supposedly quote unquote given, when we're supposedly given compliments, we still are. It's still a backhanded one at best, and usually still an insult and just coated in sugar. So all of those things are true, and that's the kind of thing this woman was signing up for when she took this job. And you have in this particular political climate, the people in charge, or at least the people who are involved, are going to do everything in their power to at least give her a hell of a time before she gets on there. And so far, no one has any kind of special evidence or something to at least make it hard for them to put her on there, unlike Kavanaugh.
Yeah, it's a market. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first person. I'm not the only person to point out the difference between both of them
You
and
basically
how
have a
they
sane
handled.
person with a really strong record, which, being who she is, she's gonna probably have to have a sterling record to have gotten to the point where she'd even be.
But that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about how she handled every line of questioning versus how he handled every. Like I don't think she raised her voice one time. Like that woman was like y'all can act crazy. I'm not. Like I'm gonna just sit here. I'm gonna answer your stupid question. I'm gonna make sure you realize how stupid your question is, and then we'll keep moving on. And then Kavanaugh was like, "Oh, our guest, right on time, right on time." So I know y'all hate when we interrupt the conversation to go to the guest, but we all have valuable time, so I'm not gonna hold her up. So as always, I have to do my flowery introduction. Honestly, this is like a challenge, not a challenge to do these things every week, but like the creative part of me having to come up with these amazing introductions every week. Keep trying to top myself. It's terrible. But I'm gonna go. All right, here we go. Tonight's guest is one of my closest friends. I've known since I was a preteen. She's incredibly philanthropic, working with multiple organizations that endeavor to improve the community around her. She is the living personification of the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon rule, because everyone knows her, or at least knows someone who knows her. And more specifically, no one has a bad thing to say about it. As always, a round of applause for the incredibly talented Kyrinda Richardson. Or at least knows someone who knows her.
Good evening.
What's going on?
Javon, the 7 degrees, though.
It's true, though. It's true. Jamari is in Atlanta, and he clearly has a 7 degrees because he knows me, so he knows you. It's not hard.
It might be a little stretch, but good evening, guys.
What's up?
Good evening.
I get this volume working.
Come on, we hear you. Okay. So, Kyrinda, this is my cousin Jamari. I don't think you've never met, obviously. This is from my dad's side of the family.
Hi, Jamari. I'm with the Hartford side of the family.
Somebody's got feedback. Who's got feedback? Who's got something playing?
For a moment, I did. I fixed it.
Is it you? Come on, get it together, Jamari.
It's fixed.
All right. Welcome to my show. Welcome to our show. Welcome to a
This is
podcast.
nice, guys. Have a nice little platform to share, ask questions. Nice and intimate.
Well, trying to make it fun.
We try.
It's conversations. That's the fun part. And so what it's been so far is Javon gets to introduce me to all these really talented people, and I get to sit here and ask ridiculous questions in between it.
I actually think Jamar, I think you're gonna really enjoy our guest for multiple levels, but because Jamar is a teacher, so he's molding the youth of America, which scares me on so
Excuse
many.
me, sir. It's corrupting.
I'm trying not to get you fired. I'm trying not to get you fired.
Oh man, I have an eyelash situation, guys.
That's all right. That's okay.
New isn't needed.
See, is that you with the feedback, Jamari?
Yes, I'm trying to share this.
Well, use your phone.
That's what I'm doing now.
Oh, don't play it while we're talking. All right. Okay. So, Kyrinda. So those that don't know, Kyrinda and I go back 1990, 91.
90-ish.
We're both proud members of Faith Seventh-day Adventist Church. For those that don't know, FS Dawes. I'm not FS Dawes. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not
FS Doc.
There we go. I'm not. I didn't go to Faith Seventh-day Adventist school. Sorry, I'm not. That's not me.
That's not your ministry, but the other side
definitely
is.
Wasn't my ministry.
The other side is.
Hey, listen, it's a good school to those that went. I know a lot of them very successful people, very successful individuals. All of them my friends. But she's one of my closest friends. Actually, very close to family. Somehow, some way, we kind of figured that out. It gets really tenuous when you think about it, but it's there. It's somewhere.
It is, on great somebody's side. Yeah, but I think that's the beauty too of growing up the way we did. Some of the friends we met through the church, our lifelong friends or our family, and have been through a lot through several years or a couple decades now. We don't look at it and we don't feel it, but when we go back and talk about music or shows or movies, it's like, man, well, that was 25 years ago.
So, I get those constant reminders all the time.
Right?
I thought about somebody posted on Twitter and they're like, oh, the people who have friends from high school, you guys are different. And I'm like, I got friends from a lot farther back than that I still hang out with.
I have a few of those too.
Right.
It's like normal to me. So when I talk to people who are like, man, I haven't talked to my friend, my middle school friends in years. And I'm like, I just saw mine last week. I don't know. All right. So I got you on the show because you are the youth programs manager at the Urban League of Greater Hartford. I almost butchered that. I don't know why I keep doing it. Like, even when I write it, I keep forgetting the greater and put Urban League of Hartford. But you are the youth program manager.
It's funny how many times people will butcher it. Urban League Hartford, Urban League Greater Hartford, like there's an of in there.
Yeah, it's
Hartford is first. I know it can get funny, but the more you say it, it'll just roll off the tongue.
So for those that don't know, what does that mean? What do you do at Urban League?
So Urban League of Greater Hartford empowers communities and changes lives. If you can remember two of those things, that'll be the easiest way to identify what is Urban League. We empower communities, we change lives, we do direct service. So people can have a need, they can come to us to get services, or we can refer them to get some other services. So I particularly work with teenagers, high schoolers. Shout out Jamari to the teachers and the educators, because we work with you all as well to help teens get ready for college, work, and life.
Wonderful.
And that's like specifically your role, or is that just like the greater mission statement?
So that is not the greater mission statement. We empower communities through program services and educational opportunities. So there's different pillars in which we do that. And Urban League of Greater Hartford is the 66th affiliate out of the National Urban League movement. So in 1910, the National Urban League was formed in New York City, and to help with economic disparity and equity and equality, and to get individuals trained based on the Great Migration. A lot of former slaves worked agriculture. They worked on the farms, they worked in plantations, so they knew how to do groundwork. But once they was free, they came up north and realized they didn't have some of the skills to do office work or factory work at corporations. So there are a lot of entities that were trying to train up this population so that they can have a seat at the table and that they can be able to demand better pay and say they're qualified to do some of the work that some of their other lighter counterparts were doing, right? So that started in 1910 through a coalition there. And then around the country, different affiliates or chapters started to pop up. And then in 1964, shout out to Women's History Month, there was a visionary named Rachel Taylor Milton, and she was actually inducted into the Connecticut Women's Hall of Fame. And she was a mover and shaker and an activist here in the city. And there were some riots going on. And she's like, we need to do something here for the people. And we need to start our own movement here. So she, talking about friendship, surrounded herself with other colleagues who had different skill sets and different levels of expertise. And one was a judge and one was a philanthropist from the Hepburn family. One worked at Aetna, one worked with the city. So they came together and they were kind of the founding five. And in 1961, they started to organize a movement here in the city of Hartford. And then after a couple of years, they reached out to National Urban League and was like, hey, we need some help. Can you send us a strong leader? We have the passion, we have the mission, but we need a leader to help us get this thing off the ground. And so National Urban League sent the first executive director and became incorporated in 1964. And Urban League of Greater Hartford has been here in Hartford just about ever since. So it was through the vision of a woman and activating some of her peers, raised a ton of money back then, which was kind of unheard of. And then National Urban League sent a leader, and his name was William Bill Brown. And in the city of Hartford, he became known as Mr. Urban League. So he was getting the word out. He was everywhere, making sure Blacks can get a seat at the table, and then igniting and sharing the movement around the city to get people connected. And that's a little bit about the story of the Urban League in Hartford.
I literally had no idea. I had no idea what that deep. Like, I'm sitting here like processing and taking it all in, and I'm like, I just thought Urban League was. I didn't honestly like before I brought you in the show. I tried to do like research and look in and everything, so I don't sound stupid. But I was like, wait a minute, there's an Urban League of. I was like, I didn't know, because I mean, I'm Connecticut born and raised, so I've always heard of Urban League of Greater Hartford, but I didn't know. I thought it was specific to Hartford. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a national affiliation at all.
Oh man, it's powerful. And Atlanta has an amazing affiliate there, and they have different satellite offices around the city. Check it out, brother. Urban League of Greater Atlanta. And then we all are adults here, so there's different aspects of it, right? So I'm an employee of the Urban League movement, but they also have an Urban League Young Professionals Auxiliary. So it's kind of like a ERG or an extension of our league, and they're not employed by us, but it's kind of an adult young professional volunteer entity where they can come together, they can network, they can get professional development, they can help us fundraise, they do different projects and events and such for us, but they have their own vibrant movement. Check them out on social media, NULYP, that's the National Urban League Young Professionals, but several affiliates have their own young professional chapters, and Atlanta has a booming one. They really do. Oh, wow. And then there's another entity called the Guild as well, and they help with fundraising and different things. So the movement is more than just the youth department or people getting their first house through us. And like I said, we were the 66th one that was started in 1964, but there's over 90 affiliates across the country. So regardless of where you're watching people on this show, check out your closest Urban League affiliate and see what they are offering. And I didn't even get into the departments yet, but at least that's the entity. And a lot of people get us confused with the NAACP. We're not them. We're kind of like cousins. We're not the same, right? So Ray got shot down the street, and it's an injustice, and we're mad about it, and somebody needs to stand up. That's the NAACP.
That's not your job.
is about to get out. And
Ray need a job. That's probably
Ray need a job.
Yeah,
That's
Ray
what
need a job. Ray, holla at the Urban League when you need
That's
a
what we
job.
do.
If you get shot, they got nothing for you.
Well, we'll have help. We'll come out and speak
We'll
out.
pray. We'll pray for you. We'll pray.
We'll pray for you. Thoughts and prayers. That's where we're going.
Thoughts and prayers. That's all you get.
Okay.
Hi.
Monica.
What's up? What drew you to work at the Urban League?
It's a funny story.
That's what we're here for.
So, John may remember my grandmother. She was a diehard New Yorker, about 5'2" or so, very spicy, very spicy. So, at the time, I was living in Kansas City, and it was during one of the great recessions, and I was in between jobs, and I was feeling sorry for myself. And my grandmother's like, you should check out the Urban League. And I'm like, I'm all right. I'll find something. And she's like, you should check out the Urban League. Grandma, I'm all right. I'll find something. And so after a while, she kept saying, she said, well, the man told me. And I'm like, you're in New York. I'm in Kansas City. Like, how is he going to help me? I'm all right. I'll find something. So after a while, she kept saying it. And I was like, all right, Graham, I'll check it out. And I checked it out. And I was in Kansas City, and I was what's the word? Can't think of it right now. But you know when you go somewhere and you have pity for yourself and you're expecting other people to have pity on you too. Right. She was like, no, what do you want to do? Is this what you want to do? Here's your assignments. Here's your tasks. Come next week. Look up these jobs, look up these entities and these companies, and start your stuff for your resume. Come back and I'll help you take it to the next step. And I was like, you're not going to do X, Y, and Z for me? And she's like, no. And so that's when I realized the difference between enabling and empowering. And like I said, Urban League empowers communities and changes lives. So they had different, through their career marketplace, there were different workshops during the week, and I was unemployed, so I was going to some workshops, and I realized, there's other people out here like me. Okay, what's your story? What's your story? So we're getting reconnected with how to do your LinkedIn page, tips for your resume, mock interview skills, how to position yourself to pivot in your career. And so just literally powering up with professional development. So when interviews would be lined up, we knew kind of the tricks to with your body language and what you say, how to relate and things like that. So as I started to get interviews, I started to become more confident. And then they had other workshops that were free now because I was affiliated with that Urban League. So I decided to leave Kansas City and relocate to my hometown in Hartford, Connecticut. Snaps for that. And I said, let me check out this Urban League here, see if they can help me revamp my resume so I can get a job in Connecticut. And I did. I walked in and asked them to help me with my resume. And then they had some openings there that I wasn't really looking for, but the time was right. And they asked, and I was like, I could do that. Okay, I can do that. And I was just expecting to stay there for a few months based on the grant. And I've been there on and off ever since. So I really went there for them to help me with my resume and ended up changing my career.
So you're kind of like the embodiment of you're kind of like you're
empowering communities and changing lives.
There you go. It can work for you.
I'm not only a founder, I'm also a client.
Right. So,
what
was it for men? I'm not.
Something like that. Yeah.
Sorry. That's all right. So obviously, go ahead, Jamari.
No, I'm just
Do you have one?
That is fascinating that you are a walking testimony to the work you are doing. That's pretty incredible. So
thanks, man. And sometimes, you don't think about it that way all the time. Unless somebody really asks you, and it's like, oh yeah, well, this is how it went. And so
yeah, it works. So this is a show, obviously, if you see the marketing, I always have creative people, or vice versa. Because for those that don't know, and who are just joining the show for the first time that don't know, I am an artist. And I use art and everything in every facet of my life. How creative do you have to be with the ever-changing landscape of well, the world in reality, like technology and everything? Like, where does say what?
Job market itself.
Yeah, the job market. Like,
the
where's
evolution of it.
how creative? How are you using creativity to kind of combat how difficult it can be to get a job nowadays? Does that make any sense?
It does. So your first part was going to lead me down one road, but then your re-ask of the question is leading me down a second road.
We can go down both. We can go down.
Right. Ironically, when I came to interview, my resume was very creative because I too wanted a communication job, and I had an artsy resume. And I was like, this is cute. You know, got a little splash of color over here. I'm gonna pimp out these bullet points. And they were like, what is this now? And I'm like, what do you mean? This is great. I want a job in a corporate setting, but I want them to see how creative I am. And it was a lesson to me. There's a time and place for everything. And you know that, but like experiencing it is just like, oh, okay, maybe it's not appropriate for this.
Yeah. I've applied to many a corporate job and had like Photoshop ability, and they're like, I don't care. I was like, I don't care.
So changing the format of the resume to make it more traditional, but getting into the role and being able to express creativity in a different way has helped to make my job more fulfilling, right? Because I can integrate parts of my passion and still help to fill a gap in the agency. Urban League is a nonprofit organization, and it is nonprofit life at that organization, if you know what I'm saying. And I say sometimes, it's urban over there. We urban. Urban. Okay. So so creativity goes a long way. So it's not always about design. It could be how you're communicating with somebody to share what we do, or taking a message or a topic and trying to make it interesting, or having to fill a gap, or something isn't working all of a sudden, and you have to find a way and be creative to make a way. And I love our people because we know necessity is the mother of invention, and we are some innovative people, my people. And even though you may not be a musician or artist or a poet, everybody has something creative in them that maybe just needs to be encouraged and nourished and massaged so they can learn how to articulate it and express it. And so we call that asset-based approach. So we're trying to figure out what about you is unique, and how do we share, and how can you learn to express that and make that shine? Like, don't lie on your resume, or don't lie in this job interview. But what are you great at? What do you like to do? How can we elevate that, and how can you be proud of that so that others can see the beautiful essence that is you? And so that's what personal branding, we do a lot with personal branding and helping them identify what's their personal brand, what makes you unique, and then how do we show that off and shout that out without you trying to be somebody else, because it's only one you. And just be the best you that you can be, and keep trying to be a better you.
Okay. Jamari?
So do you see any interesting trends in the job market now, and especially when it comes to younger people, younger job seekers? I ask that because I'm noticing you get a lot more people who are not looking for traditional jobs anymore. So how does that affect how you all work and how you are dealing with those new job seekers coming in?
So it's interesting how different the generations are, and their perception of what type of job you think you need, or you think you should get, or you think you could do, and how much you should earn tiptoeing into that field.
Jamari and I talk about this all the time. That's why
I like where this is going. I like where you're going.
However, Connecticut is one of the richest states in this union. Our county is one of the poorest cities in the state, but our state minimum wage is double the federal minimum wage. So, I mean, you can have, a youth can have a summer internship being paid $15 an hour, right? And in some states, that's way more than a nice, a nice good job. So then it elevates their expectation for what they should get, while they're still in high school and when they graduate, or even if they need to graduate, or I don't need to go to college because I can just be doing this, right? So it's others.
How is that?
I was going to say, are you seeing a lot more of that? Are you seeing a lot more?
Well, absolutely. And then
we don't need college.
And then with this instant generation, right? Instant gratification and instant generation. So things happen like this. So I can go on Instagram and just create a business, and I can make money through Instagram, but not understanding the work that goes into building a business, or the mindset that goes with that. Or college, yeah, let me do a gap year and I'll work first, but gap year and then the gap year. So like those are the trends I see, is the phrases that are trending, and then trying to embody or personify that. And it's like, you don't want that struggle, and you don't want that life. You heard it and you think it's cool right now, but that's no thanks. No thanks.
I've had some of these conversations, and I'm seeing Javon's jaw clenching and I know
I have no idea what you're talking about. This is my regular face.
Sure.
This is my regular face.
I've had to change when
I have no thoughts on this subject.
There used to be what do you want to be when you grow up? And I've stopped asking that question as a teacher. I now ask you, how comfortable do you want to be?
That's a great question.
I like that.
I'm stealing
my bar, by all means. And here's the bar I give them. I said, whatever family, whatever your parents have afforded you in the life that you live now, that's the base. Now you can either live below that or above that. And then once you figure out which one you really want, now you need to find out what kind of work you need to do in order to get into those positions.
That's a great question. I like that.
That to teenagers, I have seen the clicking of the brain, and they're like, "Whoa, wait! No one's asked me that before." And I was like, "Yeah." When you're I give them the gap year. When you're all alone and it's on you, and you're out the door, what do you want to do, and how are you going to get to that point that you're comfortable in life?
And then the road to get there is so much wider now for them, right? So it's teaching multiple streams of income is almost necessary to get to that level of where you want to be, right? So you don't have to sacrifice your passions and your interests and your career interests. Like you can do them all and just find ways to monetize them all, or find out that thing that you're good at and start small, or start now, start in college and finding ways to try to either monetize what you can do, or practice with these internships and find what you like, what you don't like, or take some of these assessments and realize where some of your interests propels you towards, and what types of jobs that can be, or what categories of jobs that can be, so you don't feel like you're tied to a role, because their patience is also not as high as some of ours are. We'll bit and grit, bite down and get through grit and bear with the job, and after a while they're like, I don't have to do this. On to the next, or just one to the not.
I'm gonna respond to this right here. I agree that not everyone is college material. Like I can understand that, but like my thing, and I've always said to this, like if you don't want to go to college, cool. But what's your plan? Because going to college kind of affords you, in my opinion, it affords you a little bit of time to figure out a plan, right? While you are accumulating skills. It allows you time to go, okay, let me figure out what I want to do. You could try a bunch of different things. Like you can do 2 or 3 majors before you figure out which one that you like. You know what I mean? But if you decide I'm not going to go to college, then it's like, okay, so that means you jumping in the deep end already. And there's no time to figure out what you want to do, because now you need to bring in some sort of income. And so like yes, everyone needs to develop marketable skills, But the easiest way to develop marketable skills is ironically college,
Well, college
because
or some kind of
or some
training
sort
or
of skill
trade,
school. Yes.
right? So either
Trade, yes.
we say
Some sort
either
of
enroll, enlist, or
yeah.
employ, or certification program, but there's so many ways to do that, you know.
But it's still an institute of higher learning. It's just, it doesn't it's not necessarily a college. Like if you want to go to trade school, if you want to go for a 2-year thing, or whatever, you are still doing some sort of learning beyond high school. So that's why when people say, well, you don't need to go to college, I'm like, nah, but you need to still learn. You still need to go to some place where somebody can teach you. Like there seems to be this myth that, hey, I can just go on YouTube and learn how to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, you know what? I can go on YouTube and learn how to build a house. That don't mean that I can do it.
But you want to live there after you build
Right.
it.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
that's
right.
the truth.
Like it's probably way
Can I
more
do a big
expensive
job
to,
here?
yeah, so like I do think, it's a different world than we, because I've had this conversation with Jamari, and I've had this conversation among friends, where we talk about how, like, when I was growing up around all my friends, Kyrinda included, like if you weren't going to college, like people kind of look at you like, well, what are you gonna do? Like,
What is you doing?
right? Like, well, yeah, like I don't know if I can hang out with you. Like my best friend just told me that this weekend. He was like, if you weren't going to college, like, dude, I don't know if I can ride with you, man. Like, well, I don't know if we could be friends. Like, it's just it was
It was
part
expected.
right. Like even in the media, we digested. When you think of like A Different World and Martin and all, they were all like HBCU graduates, or they would all be rocking like HBCU clothing, or the show would be about going to college. But like nowadays, it's like, the age of social media has told everybody that you can become rich using Facebook and Instagram and everything, but they never tell you how, if you notice. You know what I mean?
And the strange thing to me that I see is it's still an evolving and emerging format, because one thing that people are starting to discover as things have gone on is you may make your money through social media, but you don't own your platform.
Yeah.
I don't, because of it, I don't know if you've heard recently, because of the issues with Ukraine, Russian, they banned Facebook and Instagram in Russia.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people who make their money over there now. They're saying, okay, you're taking money out of my pocket because I can't do the thing I'm supposed to do online. Right. So you had that. Then there was a threat with OnlyFans not too long ago. They were going to about completely shift from adult content and go family oriented. And when something, you don't own the platform. And if they decide to turn and pivot, that's all your money.
Especially when if you have it as that multiple stream or additional stream, you're good, right? And as Javon is talking about picking up some of these skills, it's all about still building your assets, right? So regardless if you get a degree or you're learning a trade or something, that's that knowledge. Nobody can take that from you. So even if you get laid off, you can still find another way to make or build some income, because you still hold some sort of value. But it's putting in that work or the work ethic. And a lot of kids feel they don't want to be bogged down with student loans, but it's so much free money out here with these scholarships, but they don't want to write their essay, or they don't want to take the time to apply. And that's kind of where we are now. There's so much money to be had. So it's not even right now, like we're realizing we can't just inform them like, this is going on. This is the deadline. This is the deadline. No. Hey, the deadline is this date. When can we work on your essay? Can you show me where you are in the application process? Let's do this together to ensure that it will go from lip service to actual checking off the box. So they can be set up for better.
You are describing a situation I'm very familiar with. So it's interesting to see that you're having these challenges in your field as well.
And like having tutors, but they're like, no, I'm okay. It's like we have help. You're not doing good in this subject. That's what your report cards say. But here's some free help.
I don't know who you are, first time user, but thanks for tuning in. It says
Mhm.
Facebook user, so
Thanks, Facebook
we
user.
appreciate it. Holla. It's funny you said there's so much money out there. Once again, I was just having this conversation, which is why I'm so glad you came on, because all this stuff I talk about a lot. I talk about with my wife. I talk about with my friends. One of the things that I've said to myself, if I can go back in time and go to high school, like my mentality in high school was just graduate. Like it doesn't matter if you got a C average or B average or whatever, just graduate because that's what your mom wanted and that would make her happy
Yeah.
and everything. But if I were to
Right.
go back, I would be like, dude, you don't want to pay for college.
Absolutely.
You need to work harder enough to get like enough scholarships that you don't have to pay for college. That's what I intend on telling my son. Like, dude, your life would be so much easier if you just work your butt off now. Like, just work as hard and as great and be as great as possible now, because when you get to college, because he's going to college, when you get to college, when you
He
get to
said what he
college,
said.
I had a friend in college, Taramus, what up, T? Who had a free ride to SCAD. And I promise you, he looked so relaxed every day. He looked carefree.
Wow.
And I remember I used to be like, dog, man, like, and he was like, yeah, man, I had straight A's and I sent in this portfolio and I did all this other stuff. And I was like, man, and I think about that all the time, how my life would be different if I had paid if half of my college was paid. Just half. And I think one of the things, it's like, and I know a lot of, teenagers, I've got twin stepdaughters. I know a lot of them, they're just trying to survive, like high school, they're just trying to get through. But if I'd just be like, guys, like, trust me, if you just be awesome now, it will help you for the rest of your life. Like, it literally will change your life.
Yeah.
We try to share too, like that right now high school is their job. Like it literally is their job. Like it's literally earning you money. Every assignment you turn in, every quiz you do, every test you take, it is legit earning you money.
Absolutely.
So college will start looking for you based on how good you're doing
How good
now.
you start doing.
Going to work at your school. So
and it sets you up for I'm sorry, Jamar, but it's almost like it's about like you said, use the words work ethic. And like high school, and I have a friend who I always talk with him, and he argues with me about how much you need school, and in my mind, high school is preparing you to develop a work ethic for the world that you're about to go into, even more so than college, because college is kind of all over the place. When you have, you could have a class at 8:00 at night or whatever. But high school is like 7 something to 2 something. Get up, you go, you do what you need to do, and then you go home. And, until you get your perfect job, that's kind of the jobs that you're going to walk into, like you're going to have that structured 7, you need to be there every day. And I don't think a lot of people, especially teenagers at the time, because I know I didn't think about it that way, but I don't think they, think about that. Like high school and all school is, I have to go here because my parents are making me go here.
Yes.
It's harder to share the relevance beyond the classwork that they have. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like importance about middle school and high school is teaching you structure, it's teaching you, like you said, work ethic. In college, it's more so independence, decision making, critical thinking, interpersonal skills. whether you have a roommate you like or you don't like, sets you up for if you're in a job, you have a boss you like or don't like, or a coworker you like or don't like, but you have a task that you have to complete in a certain amount of time. And college teaches you some of those skills that high school doesn't. So they're both character building, but they have their own character building situations that really can't be told. You have to experience them yourself and figure out, how do you handle this situation? And then so it sets you up for the next time you have to deal with it, that you can manage it better. We fall and fail so many times, and we replay situations and reflect, and it's like, man, I could have done this. Man, I wish I had have done these things. So, and it's hard to explain that part of it. Like, you learn these other things in high school, you learn these other things in college outside of going to class and going to the CAF or being in a band or whatever.
One of the things that I've been able to share with my own students is there's opportunities I've had in life I would never have gotten if I did not have either my diploma or just the opportunity to have an education. And when they find these things out, they're like, wait, you did that? You lived in another country for 2 years? I was like, yes, I lived in another country. I was not in the military. I worked there. I lived there. And I did that twice. And I got to do it during school, in college, and then I got to do it after college. And so those are things that were directly connected to education for me. Certain jobs are just locked out if you don't have some form of education or training. So even if they're not something, you have to, those experience, you can't take those things away from a person who has them. And it's just that you always have a stronger base if you have some form of training or education with you than without. So those things,
and then literally dollars and cents. Like, you start off you just start off at a higher rate of pay, and that it will sustain and raise, based on a piece of paper or some letters behind your name. And in most industries, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, you mentioned something about the expectations on what getting paid and what kind of jobs, and the lack of patience. Have you seen kind of an uptick of kids jumping into jobs that they are literally just jobs, they're not careers, and they are putting an emphasis on those jobs even before they graduate?
Yes. And especially during COVID, when most of school was remote. And so students were trying to pick up shifts, had school on their phone and wasn't paying attention, but was logged in so they can be checked in.
Wow.
But they working.
I have seen that very thing.
Wow.
And so they're just trying to pass. They don't care about retaining the information or being able to regurgitate the information.
That's crazy.
In the moment, that is their need. They need the money. It's not that they want it, but during the pandemic, we needed so many things because so much uncertainty was going on, and people were just trying to find a way to cope, or find relief, or find an outlet, or find something to keep them busy, or find something to keep them sane, right? So I think that whole shift in dealing with that, and then not wanting to stay in the house, and then if school is at your house, and can I pick up a shift? What y'all have? Can I come in? Can I do something? Get me out, please. Or others who are introverts, I think it depends too, on their personality and their life situation at the time and in the moment. And their parents' work may have been affected, and their access to comfortability, or access to things that were no-brainers before, or just part of their lives, had changed. So what can they do to help that, or feel like they were contributing to that, or contributing to their own peace of mind?
So what kind of training does what are some of the things your organization is doing with this now going forward, with our new landscape for
right? So it's funny, we're doing a lot of the things that we were already doing, but learning how to do them differently. So with that empowerment, right, we help empower and enrich the family. So we start off with education. That's the baseline, right? So we do adult education. If you don't have a credential, if you don't have a diploma or a degree, start with these adult education classes. And we started doing them much more intimately, where people could either do them remotely or come into the office and do these adult education classes. Once they were empowered to learn, you have the skills. Now you have some credential. Let's get you empowered to work. So we'll prepare you to get a job, or prepare you to be ready to revamp your resume or your cover letter or your mock interview. Okay, you want to get into manufacturing or construction? Here's a training. Here's a certification program. Capital is having a program. We're partnering with them. Go and attend this class, and we'll pay for it. Go and attend. Get your driver's license. We'll pay for that, so that you can get the skill set or the training that you need to be qualified for the job that you want, to be comfortable in that place that you want to be, right? So once you're educated, once you're working, now you're making money. So let's help you manage that money in our economic enrichment department. And it helps to build a wealth building mindset. And how do you do that? Is start thinking about assets. So you start thinking about, how do you manage your money? How do you manage your credit and not just avoid it or be afraid of it? But let's face it. And what are steps that
did that for years? Not proud of it. Not proud of it.
Build that, right? And then what's the quickest, a strong asset that we're trying to build in our community is home ownership. And a lot of people have come through the Urban League through trying to get their first home. So we've had a first-time homebuyers class, and they've been waiting lists every month before the pandemic, and even now, during the pandemic, because they've been virtual now, and they're like 8-hour classes. And so instead of it being in person 8 hours, our staff shifted to doing 2 4-hour days over the weekend. And so they would be online, be on Zoom, and the people would be in the class. So then we have the first-time home buyers, we have the financial fitness with money management. And then if you already have property and want to grow that, we have landlord classes. And then if you want to get your taxes done, we do free taxes through VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. Okay. So all of that with managing the money, and all of that with professional development. We're trying to help you to become and get more stable. And then we have a men's suiting closet there. So you got a job, but you don't have anything to wear to the interview. You got a court case, you ain't have nothing to wear to court. We got you. Come on down, get this suit, and show up in a better position, or at least looking the part. Then we want you to have a healthier start, because now you're educated, you're employed, starting to get some money. Now you want to start a family. So we help moms from pregnancy up until their child is about 18 months to 2 years old through our Healthy Start program. And then it connects you with different resources for moms and dads to make sure them and their families have a happy and healthy start. And we recently, through the pandemic, started the Urban Eats Fresh Aeroponic Tower Garden. I'm going to mess this up. In partnership with the Yukon Connecticut Convergence Institute on Regenerative Engineering.
There you go.
A lot of words. Something like that. However, it's Yukon Health, basically. So through their generosity, we started to, in our office, we have 12 aeroponic towers, and each tower holds 32 pods of vegetables. So that's over 100 different types of varieties that we can offer for free to the community, so they can make healthier choices, and we can all start to be a healthier community, one bite at a time, one kale leaf, lettuce leaf, collard green leaf, cilantro leaf at a time. And
cilantro is a leaf. I didn't even know that. We got cilantro. I felt stupid. I feel real stupid right now. I didn't know cilantro is a leaf.
It grows. So people drive by the window and they think we're growing weed. We're not growing weed, man.
I mean, everyone's legalizing it at this point.
I know, right? You might as well get in where you fit in.
But we got kids, and we're not trying to legalize
Urban League weeds.
Get this basil, not that.
No, let me stop.
So then once they do that, wait, I'm almost done. So then,
go ahead.
They come to our department, the youth department, and our signature program through National Urban League is called Project Ready, and it helps teens get ready for college, work, and life. So at its core, it's a college and career readiness program, but it undergirds it with life skills. So we try to focus on service learning and community service. And you don't have to be rich to give back. You don't have to be rich to be philanthropic. And what are ways that we can be relevant and still impact the community? And we've been trying to do that in different ways. Somebody loves the aeroponic veggies. Yes, thank you. Go ahead and say that, do that, live that. So we try to touch all the elements of the family. And then a lot of social justice and advocacy was going on during the pandemic too. And as an organization that was built and founded to help promote and elevate Black Americans, like we're still in that work and we're still doing that work. So with the pandemic, we started to do more about vaccine hesitancy and not telling people whether to get vaccinated or not, but just be informed. So there's National Urban League created a website and a campaign to have people get informed. So you make a decision, not based on what you hear on the news, but what you can see and research for yourself. And here's a hub that you can go to dive deeper. So we're helping from pregnancy to elderliness, mature, seasoned adulthood.
Trying to see you make your way around.
There you go.
You got it. You got there eventually.
Those PR skills are there. Yes.
I'm so proud of Rinda right now. I'm so proud. I'm always proud of my friends, but so this is so I don't know if this is a difficult question, but I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I know obviously we both go to the same church, Faith Seminary Adventist. How do you feel your spirituality helps you in your position, in your job?
That is not a difficult question at all. Are you kidding me? When I say Jesus is real, thank you, Jesus. All right, on so many different levels, right? Because sometimes even like if you're going to a HBCU or if you work for a nonprofit or if you're living in a underserved community, your hope can waver or it can be so easy to get discouraged. But when you base that in your hope in Christ or like the gospel music, Javon, you know that we're so inundated with random phrases or scriptures or things that are encouraging, you know, whether it's an affirmation or like I said, just a simple song, no weapon formed or whatever. Better, things are gonna get better, you know. So sometimes I have Alexa in there and I'm playing some Jonathan McReynolds. Get me through, Lord, get me through, Jonathan, get me through, Donald, get me through somebody. So I don't hide my spirituality, but I don't force it either, right? So that's one way. I think a second way is the faith-based community serves the same community we serve. So in a lot of places and spaces, it makes sense for us to collaborate with them or to do work with them or to share our services with them or to invite them to come in and collectively do work together because they still have ministries that are about community service, or they have ministries that are focused on health, or ministries to help empower men, right? So those are natural alliances. And sometimes it helps saying, hey, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian too, I get it. So that kind of helps to join that as well. And then some of our other teams or colleagues may just need a minute, you know, to vent or to pray. And it doesn't mean we're out, you know, laying hands on everything, but if you need a little moment or a corner and just need a little bit, you know, you have somebody that you can take that moment with, or that can believe with you, or be discouraged, but know that it doesn't have to last, and that there's something bigger and greater than all of this that we can see. And it really makes faith real, because it's that evidence and things that you can't see and that you're trying to convince other people of, especially when people are coming to you because they're in a situation and they can't see their way out of it. Like they're literally just seeing the clouds. But in any rainy day, the sun doesn't stop. The earth doesn't stop orbiting. It's just the distractions in the way. It's just the clouds blocking that sun, or the snow or the rain or the fog, but the sun doesn't stop being there. So sometimes just pausing and have that perspective can help you to share it with somebody else, or they can, you know, bless you in the process. So it's not an uncomfortable question to ask about my faith, but I'm glad I have it. So it keeps me.
Even? Is that the word you're looking for? I don't know. I was trying to help you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I was just gonna let
You're just gonna let it ride? Okay. Jamar, do you have a question before I go?
I was
Not before I go, but you know what I mean.
I got you. I know what you mean. So I was wondering if you collaborated with. You said you collaborate with faith-based groups, churches. Do you also collaborate with schools? And do you have what other partnerships and collaborators do you have out here?
Right. So we collaborate with school districts and with schools. In the city of Hartford, here is Hartford Public Schools, and with CREC, Capital Region Education Council.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Sorry if I got the acronym wrong. Anybody at CREC?
All right.
We love y'all. All right.
We love
so
y'all.
with them,
we love you. We love your work, but
I believe that's it, right? So with them, and then with multiple high schools in the area, even some middle schools and some elementary schools, because sometimes our teens can do projects that can help to give back to younger students or younger kids,
Yes.
and help them to see somebody who is not that much older than them, still sharing some information or still imparting something. We partner with other community-based organizations around the city. Like, there's a YMCA here, there's Boys and Girls Clubs, YWCA, and others who are still doing meaningful and impactful work, either with teens or with some of our other target audiences. It could be job seekers. It could be individuals with a criminal justice background. We also partner with municipalities, with the city of Hartford, and with different agencies in there. And then we have some of our corporate partners as well. And Hartford has a lot of insurance companies, and it's big with STEM. So there's a lot of engineering or technology companies, and we value them at different levels. So it's a variety of partnerships. And since we have a unique model that has different demographics and different departments that we deal with, the partners and the funders in those areas can change as well, or help to fund our programs and help to collaborate so that we can serve more effectively.
That was a great question, Jamar.
Hey,
and I didn't say shout out to the civil servants as well. So tonight we had a couple of police officers who came by to get their veggies in our garden. So I want to high five them, but even the fire department and the police department and colleges. So there's a lot of people that we connect with to help empower communities and change lives, depending on the department and time of year and the initiative.
I had to ask because my brain the gears are already turning. So I just wanted to.
You call them up right now.
Contact the Urban League in Atlanta. I have some people, and they have a good entrepreneurial center down there, and we're going to be starting one up as well here in Hartford. But they're a beast down there.
Now, I'm always happy when my guest answers questions before I ask them, because
that's been happening all night.
All night. I'm just sitting there crossing off questions. Like,
Mhm.
all right, well, I won't ask that one. She already answered that one. She's very good at what she does, apparently.
Clearly.
So I'm going to ask one more question, and then we're going to ask fun personal questions. Fun.
Okay.
I won't. No. I promised Kyrinda I would not embarrass her tonight. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. But if anyone is interested in becoming involved with the Urban League, how would they go about doing that?
First thing they can do is visit our website. It's www.ulgh.org. If you're interested in being a participant, a volunteer, a donor, a partner, Urban League family member, or whatever, you can view some of our departments there, or even if you're interested in being part of our board. Also, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our handle is at ULGH64. And the 64, of course, is based on the year that we were founded in Hartford, 1964. So we celebrate that. on our social media platforms. And our phone number is 860-527-0147. And we're in a unique place right now and getting some new additions to our team and some transitions in our team. And we'll have a success navigator who'll be able to answer questions for people who call and may have an issue. And the navigator will be able to direct you to the department that can best serve you to get you on the road to success.
All right. So everybody, you guys heard that. Call them up, help them out. Or if you need help, please go. Like I said, she's very good at what she does. So
sorry. And speaking of going, we're on a bus line. So go on a bus. 7476 bus literally stops in front of our door on the corner of Woodland and Sargent Street. We're located at 140 Woodland Street. If you're in Hartford, we're between St. Francis Hospital and Woodland Pizza. So come on in between.
Get your slice of pizza.
Just saying.
Get your slice of pizza and get your cholesterol checked. All within the same time frame.
You know?
All right. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do something that we haven't done with a guest in a minute. We started doing this in the beginning of the show, but we kind of got away from it because conversations got really into it. But I actually think it'd be pretty cool here. It was what am I stoked about? What am I not stoked about?
Okay.
So, I mean, what in media and social media and everything that's going on in the world right now, what are you stoked about and what are you not stoked about?
You asked me a question earlier, and this is probably not the direction you were going to asking this question about. I'm stoked about Canva because you asked about ways to bring creativity.
You stoked about what?
See, Jamari knows.
What is it?
Oh,
Canva.
Canva?
Canva is glorious, sir.
What is that?
You're going to find out.
It's like Photoshop on easy mode.
Canva is clutch. Especially
is it something that on your phone?
You can get it.
It could be on your phone. It could be on your your phone or on a computer. But it helps you to create a variety of things, either with templates or it can just spark your creativity. So I'm stoked about Canva. It's made life so much easier. And not that you stop being creative, but you have a little help now. You got useful help that's good quality. Check it out.
Is it an app?
It is an app
and a website.
Yes.
Do you have to pay for it?
You don't have to.
If you want the pro version, see, so a business owner is using it. Kids can use it for projects. Younger kids can use it just for a birthday.
I should know about this
Shout
out.
You will look at it. You probably would enjoy it because if you are someone you want to make a sign, you want to make posters, you want to create posts for your social media. It has a lot of templates for those kinds of things, infographics. I use it to make signs in my class. I use it to make the poster I sent you when I made my event for my kids that I sent you. So it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. Anything that you do already, it gives you an opportunity to make it look professional and slick.
Chad, you stupid man.
Oh yeah, everything he's talking about.
Is it cheaper than Photoshop?
It is. It can be $0, Javon.
Yeah,
$0.
I've never heard of it before.
Now,
like honestly, I'm still using Photoshop.
And what I get, I'm kind of lucky because
I have to look into this now. I'm literally going to
pay
Google
for it, but I guess they have a version for organizations and educators that allows you get not quite the same as a pro account, but it's better. So I get a lot of resources out of it that you normally couldn't get. And like I said, I use that thing, my PowerPoints, my Nearpods, somebody said videos and photos, anything like that. You want to put a scrapbook together,
a t-shirt
anything you can think of.
Okay.
Anything you think of, someone's probably
learning a lot today.
Jamari stoked about it too. See, that was a win. Where you at?
Apparently,
have that.
Oh yes.
Okay, guess not.
There you go. There you go. Took us a minute to get it. So what are you not stoked about?
I'm not stoked about Adobe Creative Suite costing so much money.
It's Adobe. They're gonna charge you everything they can.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's why I haven't updated from Photoshop.
They have like I don't know if they still have the subscription service.
It's still there because the subscription is perpetual. But they do every now and then. You can go. There's a couple of sites that you can go to, and they will occasionally have discounted versions.
Listen, I have a discounted version of Adobe Suite that I've been using for quite a while now, and I have been using it. It has worked. If you have watched this show, if you've seen a flyer, I've been using that Photoshop. This Photoshop is probably I have been using this Photoshop since 2007. I've been using the same Photoshop, same Illustrator. Does everything I need. I'm gonna ride this to the wheels fall off.
I'm trying to remember if they do sell it by itself
listen,
instead of without the
you can buy like Photoshop by itself. It's Photoshop, just an arm and a leg.
Yeah,
it's
an arm and a leg. Buy it, but I'm talking about the suite. They used to sell the suite, but I don't know if they do that anymore without the subscription.
Now it's the cloud, Creative Cloud.
Yeah. When I was actually going to do it, I was going to get the subscription, and then I saw how much it was because I wanted everything, and I was just like, no, I'm not paying that every month. I'm gonna ride with what I got. Listen, God is good. He's been holding on. It's like $50 a month. Bump that. So do better, Photoshop. I love y'all, Adobe, but do better.
Next question.
There's that whole the revenue thing coming back to it again, and that's the thing that companies want. They want that perpetual revenue coming in every month. So everybody's trying to make a service or subscription that you pay for. I wonder if I can get a teaching subscription service from individuals instead of just my paycheck.
All right, so let's do, because it's 9/11. I'm not gonna hold Kyrinda all night, but this one might spark quite the conversation. So I'm gonna give you. So once again, I always do the introduction. For those that don't know, I do a podcast on Tuesday nights called Top 5 Live, where we pick a topic and we come up with a list of our top 5 best or favorite. Like last week, we did top 5 funniest comedies. And we come up with our list and we give each other crap for each other's list. Like we debate why our list is better, and it usually, ends up pretty funny. We don't debate on this. We don't debate on this show, but we do talk about them. So I'm going to give you an option. Because you're my friend, I'm going to give you you can choose between the two, whichever one you choose. So you can either do top 5 favorite Friends episodes or top 5 favorite gospel singers. Okay, you can pick one, or you can do them both. Knock yourself out.
It's tough, man. Okay.
In no particular order.
All right, let me start with Friends. So the wedding episode, I don't know if that could be 1 and 2 because it was 2 parts to that wedding episode. The one where they're getting ready for the party.
Wait, which wedding? Are you talking about the one in London or the?
Yes, London.
Okay.
All right, so the one where they're getting ready for the party.
Yes.
Oh man, there Thanksgiving one.
Which one?
I think it was the football and Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Then, oh man, there's Pivot.
Yep. For those that don't know, that's the episode where Ross bought the couch and he didn't want to pay for the movers to bring it in. So him, Chandler, and Rachel. No, it was Rachel.
Oh yeah.
It was Rachel, and they tried to get it up the staircase. Okay, that's 4.
And man, the spray tan episode where Ross got spray tan.
Wow, that's really arbitrary. Okay. No, I would have never guessed that one. I would have never guessed it in a million years.
So those are the first 5 that popped in that still bring joy to my soul. There are several others.
Let me see if I can do mine.
Okay.
The one where they're getting ready. That's my favorite episode.
Hands down.
The one where the contest, where they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I was shocked that you chose that one.
I forgot.
This is really hard. The episode where Chandler was in the box.
In trouble.
Oh, absolutely. The episode where everybody found out about Chandler and Monica, and then Phoebe and Chandler had a date. So that one.
We know.
Right. And then man, that's tough. Probably the London episode. Probably the London one. The 2 combined. So that's my top 5. Jamari, do you have a top 5?
I never watched Friends.
Come on.
No accounting for taste.
It didn't hit with me. So I may have watched 3 episodes in my entire life. Yet I seem to know at least when people make certain references, I still know them. And that's
good enough.
I'd heard about the pivot thing before. I'd heard about that, but I've never, like I said, I've never watched it. Which is strange because I love New Girl. I love How I Met Your Mother.
I was going to ask you top 5 New Girls, but I'm not sure if you finished.
I was so sporadic with New Girl. I wasn't watching in any particular order. I was just picking a season and the show and watching.
That's all right. Okay, go. You said you were going to do top 5 gospel singers.
Okay.
Please log in for the Google Home app.
That's going to be hard. So let me say the top 5 that I've been listening to now.
Mm-hmm.
That's still hard. Okay. It's hard to say top. I'm going to just throw out 5.
What?
I'm going to go with, all right, Jonathan McReynolds, Anthony Brown, and Group Therapy. I mean, Kirk is just a beast in writing music. It's going to get touchy here. It's going to get touchy. Don't do that with your face, Javon.
I'm just listening.
Okay. It's tough. All right, Donald's got to be in there. Faith City Music. To watch them right now, I could just go in on them right now.
Okay, that's 5. My 5. Fred Hammond. Everybody knows that.
Down.
Everybody knows Fred Hammond is my favorite gospel singer
ever in life.
Forever and ever and ever and ever. Amen. Daryl Coley. I will sit and listen to When Sunday Comes, like, over and over again.
Repeat.
On repeat. Marvin Sapp. Honestly, I could put Commission, like, in general, but I'll say Fred and Marvin. If we're just doing singers, I'm gonna put them together. BB and Cece together.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll put BB and Cece together. I love me BB and Cece Winans. They just remind me of my mom. Like, they remind me of waking up on Sabbath mornings like to the smell of pancakes and turkey bacon. Like that's what BB and CC wine is. Just reminds me of like, all right, time to get up and go to Faith, and then be there until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Jamari, I'm dead serious. Like we would go to church. We would go to church.
Not
for
quite
Sabbath school.
Long, but
Sabbath school. But what is like 9:30?
9:30.
And we wouldn't leave. There have been days. I know for Kyrinda, but there have been days that I have been there for like 9:30 and did not get home until like 1, 2 in the morning.
With the change of clothes, so don't think we were in
With
like
the
church
change of
service
clothes.
that whole time. It would be a series of activities.
You had to bring clothes.
It would all be together.
Absolutely had to bring clothes. But what's my last one?
It wasn't that bad for me, but I've definitely walked in early morning and didn't leave until late that evening. So I know what that means.
I'm going to go. Dang, man, it's hard.
It is.
The last one, see, because it's between two. And
who are you two? Because I have some honorable mentions in mind. Like Jason Nelson, I would throw him in.
If I'm talking singers, it's between Yolanda Adams and gosh, how did I forget his name? I almost called him Donnie Lawrence. We fall down.
Donnie McClurkin.
Donnie McClurkin. Between them two, I'm gonna go Donnie. And I love Yolanda, but I'm gonna go Donnie.
You had all males, but you're like you.
I wasn't gonna say it. I said I wasn't gonna say it.
I know, but it was BB and CC. But you like the male ballad kind of.
But yeah, but I love Yolanda. That's why I said it's so hard. Like it's really hard for me. Like I would have to do a B and C. I mean, if we were just doing like gospel artists, like not just singers, I gotta throw a few of them out because you got to put Kirk in there,
right?
But yeah, like I love Yolanda, but like.
So you were just talking about singers and not like body of work. Well,
no, I was just talking about my favorite singers. Like my favorite, like the ones who I will listen to anything they put out just because it's them. Those are the people who pretty much for my entire life, like especially Fred. Like Fred Hammond puts out an album. I'm like, all right, okay, all right. It's my favorite album. You haven't heard a song. That doesn't matter. It's my favorite album.
I said what I said.
Listen, when I finally got to see Fred Hammond in person, in concert, for an actual concert, that was like the greatest concert. And it was a terrible concert. Not because Fred was bad, because it was this weird, like semi-play concert where like
it was one of the tours.
Yeah, it was like, hey, we're gonna do this skit here, and then we're gonna do a song, but the song had nothing to do with the skit. It was just an opportunity for artists to come out, and like my wife and I went, but then like at the end of the whole thing, Fred basically just came out and did like 3, 4, 5 songs and just had a concert.
He always does like a reprise medley.
Right.
And it's like you think you're gonna go, but then he's like bam, bam, bam.
Right. Like he had me walking down there like for altar call for no reason. I was just like, yo, I gotta go. Like I'm just gonna go down there because I'm feeling it. And then when Kyrinda and I went to the Commission reunion, because Commission reunion album is probably my favorite gospel album. Well, let me not say that.
It's not.
That's
but
hard.
It's up there.
It's up there. That's really difficult.
Because I'm sure you're either going to put like Pages by Design or not Pages, Purpose by Design or Pages of Life somewhere up there.
Pages of Life is up there. But also what Kirk Franklin album? God dang, it's hard. I love Hero. Is it Hero? Is that the name of the album?
Yeah.
I love Hero.
Hero was good.
That's really good.
That was a good one.
I really wish I listened to more gospel album now. Like current gospel. I'm not really feeling it. No disrespect to any current gospel artist, but all my taste for all my music is stuck in like from 1985 to about 2007. 2000.
So
No,
like
you know what?
Like start with like XM Sirius Radio. Do like Kirk Franklin's Praise.
I'm not paying for XM Sirius Radio.
You said what?
I'm not paying for Sirius Radio.
Okay, maybe not.
That's-
But anybody else try to explore some of the new artists while you're driving? That's a good way. That's how I get turned on to someone. Be like, oh, who's this? Okay, what is that?
I do. My wife has Sirius in her car right now. I probably should. I stayed listening. I'm still listening to my
Channel
old school.
64. Check it out. You're welcome.
Do you have a favorite gospel album? I never, Jamari, I don't know if you and I have ever really talked about gospel music. Ever.
So,
Ever.
What you got, Jamari?
I own 3 gospel albums. One of them, I don't even know if it truly counts.
Is it R. Kelly?
I own more Christian rock albums than I own that.
Wow.
Yeah, I am the different one of the family.
So who would you recommend for Christian rock?
My favorite one out of that, and it's like they had 2 of my favorite albums, and they no longer exist. But I really loved a group called the Benjamin Project, but they're defunct. They don't exist now.
That sounds really
the Benjamin Gate. That's what they were. The Benjamin Gate. And I actually
familiar.
Or I was really young, and I actually got both of my albums signed by the group. And then it turns out, like, fairly shortly after the lead singer got married, and decided she was gonna just have her family, and they no longer existed. And I was just like, oh well. And they did 2 really good albums and stopped, but I love them even to this day. For gospel, it's 2 Kirk Franklin albums and Take 6's very first album.
I love Take 6.
That first Take 6 album, that had a huge impact on me. I thought I wanted to be an a cappella singer because of that album. I knew I wasn't going to make it, but I still loved it. And it's like, even now, like, I'm hearing like the David and Goliath song, it gets stuck in my head, Spread Love, all of those songs.
Yes.
Like, all of that is the stuff that when I have that feeling, that spirit, it's stuff like that moves me. So traditional gospel, not quite the same for me that it would be for a lot, and I understand a lot of people, they need it, they love it. My mom loved gospel music. It got just to see the way it affected her, and I've seen other people. So I know Javon lives there. My brother lives.
I don't live there as much as I used to, though. I'll be perfectly honest. Like, all the gospel music I listen to is like 90s, early 2000s,
It's
late
old
80s.
school now.
Yeah, like, it's old school.
I
couldn't tell you any new artists at all.
Okay, that is a thing that kind of bothers me sometimes. When people get so stuck in their era, or they get so stuck in one genre, and I know you don't get stuck in one genre, but our people sometimes get stuck in, we get kind of narrow sometimes. So I look at it, and it is what it is. I joke with one of my coworkers. She jokes and says, every song, every word to every song that comes on the radio. And I was like, well, you stopped listening to music after 1996. So,
oh no.
I mean, I listen to some new stuff. Like, I love Bruno.
Everybody loves Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Sorry.
I
know it's a completely different Bruno, but I mean,
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen Encanto?
Which I'm surprised. Well, your son's old enough that he would.
My son's attention span is about this big. So if you're going to expect him to sit through any movie, this is the same child who has his iPad and he's literally going through YouTube like this. Boop, boop, boop. His attention span is like, I tried to watch an episode of, I tried to watch Into the Spider-Verse with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves Spider-Man. But we got maybe 10 minutes in, which was amazing.
And
We got like 10 minutes in, and he was just like, and he was gone. He just took off on me. So I was like, all right, when you're ready, we can do all this stuff. So I'm in that between that stage of like,
he's not quite there yet.
Right. And Tip and Trent, they don't watch any of that stuff anymore. So like, I don't have to watch it, which I'm okay with. I'm quite all right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like it's a good movie. I'm pretty sure when eventually I get around to it, it'll be a good movie, but
I had no choice. The weekend after it came out, I'm in my classroom and I have kids that are always in them early in the morning, and that my morning group kids, they're all singing Bruno, and I'm like, what are you singing? And they're like, Encanto. So I was like, all right, I guess I know what I'm watching tonight because I need to know what this is. And so yeah, I knew that one. You know my music tastes go all over the place.
That's all right. That's all right though. I never judge you. Never judge you. You seem
what
to
grade
judge
do
me
you
though.
Teach, Jamari?
I teach ninth grade English specifically.
Bless you.
All right. Well, I don't want to hold Kyrinda that much longer because I know she was literally just jumping in the house when we got started. So I want to get you a chance to eat some dinner and relax before you head back to the Urban League tomorrow to probably get heckled by your coworkers who watched tonight. But that's okay. You did a great job today, and I'm very thankful that you were able to come on, and I enjoyed the conversation. Jamari, speaking for Jamari as well. Once again, for anyone that's looking to get involved with the Urban League of Greater Hartford, go to www.ulgh.org. And for those that aren't in Hartford, as Kyrinda said, there are urban leagues everywhere. Pretty sure you could just Google it. It's not hard. It's what we have the interwebs for.
The National Urban League has a page that shows all of the affiliates. You can go to I Am Empowered or just Google National Urban
League.
League.
I am on the Greater Atlanta page. I pulled that up so I can really go look at it later.
There you go.
Go ahead and explore. Thanks, Javon. Thanks, Jamari. I'm honored and just so proud. It was fun.
And whenever you guys have an initiative or something that you guys want to spread the word about, let me know. You're always welcome to come back.
Thank you.
For everyone else, please come back next week. We have, I'm going to butcher his name, Greg Ellisay, award-winning educator, filmmaker, and creator of The Weird Spider. I'm not going to pronounce Isnanya. Is it Isnanya, I believe, The Weird Spider, but he's a very interesting dude, and he's a really cool guy. Come on back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, same as always. And once again, another round of applause, Kyrinda Richardson. And thank you all, and have a good night. Bye-bye, folks.